Hi, you're watching news from Kazakhstan. I'm Askar Sherlief, and here are the headlines. First Lady Sara Alpysovna was seen with the president on public for the first time in 2 years. Will the opposition be able to hold a referendum? Human rights activists created a website of Kazakh political prisoners. The celebration of Nowruz at the Astana Square was attended by the president. Surprisingly, he came with his wife and First Lady Sara Alpysovna. In the past several years, she was not seen quite rarely at the public gatherings. Thus, the issue of president's family was a hot topic on the internet. More details next.
Елбасы Нұрсұлтан Назарбаев және Қазақстан Республикасының бірінші ханымы Сара Назарбаева.
The host of the ceremony presented Nursultan and Sara Nazarbayev as the leader of the nation and the First Lady. The appearance of the president together with his official wife is a rare occurrence nowadays. Still, the protocol was followed to a T, and Sara kept behind her husband throughout the event, greeting the guests while the head of state was busy with his speeches. We are now celebrating a holiday that returned to us together with our independence. We can now say that in just 21 years, really a flash in history, we were able to achieve what others do for centuries. The last time the couple appeared together in front of cameras was almost 2 years ago during the presidential elections. On April 3rd, Sara and other family members publicly fulfilled their civic duty by placing votes. That appearance served as a response to the fresh message published on the internet by Nazarbayev's former son-in-law, Rahat Aliyev. He claimed that the couple had long been divorced and even supplied a visual evidence in the form of the First Lady's passport with her maiden name. Following the elections, Sara disappeared from the public eye again, and Aliyev said in his interview to K+ that according to his sources, there is reason everything is happening the way it is. It's not a secret that Nazarbayev ordered the communication ministry to stop covering anything that has to do with his first wife, Sara Nazarbayeva, in order to remove her from official protocols and information channels in general. He finally decided to legalize his marital relations. Meanwhile, the internet community was actively discussing the surfacing of a YouTube video made during Barış Astana's hockey game. The president was seen there accompanied by a boy of about 7 years who was never seen with Nazarbayev before. According to the information possessed by Rahat Aliyev, the boy is Nursultan Nazarbayev's eldest son with his third wife, who is going by the male alias of Alexei in several published wiretapped conversations. The revelation skyrocketed YouTube views of the fateful hockey game, as well as the wiretapped recordings themselves. Are you Nurike's friend? Why do you call yourself that? You're a Sultik, so stop calling yourself that. So what are you doing? Anyway, we're done already, so you want me to come over? Who did you invite? Just get in the car and get to us. Now the president chose Nowruz as the occasion to appear with his official wife again, ignoring the rumors. After all, the couple has celebrated the Golden Jubilee last year.
The speech of the head of state on Nowruz created ambiguous evaluation of experts. Let's see what they had to say.
Jansirik Abulkasumov came to Almaty 4 years ago from a village in Jambul region. He graduated from a university with honors. However, it was not too easy to find a job in the big city. Jansirik changes one temporary job after another, but it is still better than going back to his home village. Every year, the president says in his address that the future of Kazakhstan is in the hands of the youth. But these are no more than words. It's been 2 years and I still can't find a job. Only children of officials get hired. 474,000 unemployed were officially registered in December 2012. Experts say that the real number may be even higher, considering that around 40,000 people come to Kazakhstan annually. The whole world has been in crisis for 5 years, and jobs are being cut everywhere. Despite that, we have built 700,000 new companies. At a time when unemployment is rising everywhere, we were able to decrease it by 5%. Nursultan Nazarbayev's congratulations on Nowruz sounded more like a report on social and economic achievements. Economic results have increased by 16 times. There is $12,500 for each Kazakhstani. Pensions and salaries are rising, unemployment is decreasing. Petr Svoik, head of the Public Anti-Monopoly Commission, agrees with the figures voiced by the president. This shows that both prices and the cost of living have increased. This is especially relevant in regards to pensions. When pensions are increased by 20 times, it means that the cost of life has risen accordingly, and the pensions need to comply with this level. Nursultan Nazarbayev also noted that 700 medical institutions have been built in Kazakhstan in the past few years, and free medical care was formed. However, Bakhit Tumenova, the veteran of local health service, is certain that the quantity does not always mean high quality. I would not say that the number of new hospitals built in the country is an indication of good healthcare system. It is more important what technologies we're using and how we're using them. The professional level of our doctors is also important. Are they as professional as doctors in Germany or Israel? We have formed a good education system over the last years and free secondary education. 900 schools were built, and now our children can get the best education in Kazakhstan. We had 8,354 schools during the Soviet Union. In 2000, the number of schools decreased to 8,010. If 100 schools are built every year, there has to be over 9,000 schools now. According to the information of the Statistics Agency, there are around 7,800 schools in Kazakhstan. Where are the remaining schools? According to experts, the president is only showing off the big numbers year after year. However, official statistics is not always a reflection on real life.
Members of Nur Otan in the parliament see no reasons for the Central Elections Commission to deny the registration of the referendum. If everything will be correct legal-wise, there should be no obstacles, says Aygul Solovyova. However, she wonders whether the activists will be able to hold such a large-scale event.
I saw that the people who gathered in the hall were not very active. Most of them were sleeping. I don't know if they'll have enough energy and if they have the confidence that they can push the referendum and collect signatures. Aygul Solovyova expressed her concerns about the decision to form the community coalition at a press conference devoted to green economy development in the country. Thus, the coalition will promote energy-saving technologies prior to the Expo 2017. Members of the coalition have signed all the required memoranda. One of the most breakthrough ideas is that Kazakhstanis will be able to buy kilowatt-hours via the internet once solar panels which will store energy are installed in every house. In case of blackouts, the internet users will be able to sell each other surplus electricity. According to the chairman of the National Chamber of Public Utilities, Saltanat Rahimbekova, the success of the green economy depends heavily on Kazakhstan's population. She also explained that continuous increase in utility tariffs is caused by high cost of public utility system repairs. The total area of the country's housing stock is 160 million square meters, of which 30%, that is 50 million square meters, require major repairs. Moreover, 60 to 70% of all the water supply pipe networks are aging, but the state budget fund cannot afford billions of dollars to get them repaired.
Journalists of the banned Golos Respubliki publication tried to understand the notion of single media. To recap, Medeo District Court of Almaty defined 8 newspapers and 23 internet publications as single and banned their publication and distribution.
Yet another hearing of the Golos Respubliki newspaper, although not in an expanded format. The justice was addressed to clarify the following. Other means of periodic or continuous public distribution of United Media products. In this case, what is a periodic or continuous distribution? Having heard the complaint, the judge went into the jury room for almost 2 hours. Later, the judge announced the decision. The court decided to affirm the decision made by the Medeo court dated December 25, 2010, in regard to the lawsuit initiated by the public prosecutor of Almaty against Golos Respubliki, Kaleidoskop Sabyti, and other newspapers to recognize and ban the United Media. It seems the journalists were not expecting justice, and therefore they prepared their response to the court in advance. She does not want to explain anything. In fact, she is committed. That is clear already. We still have not heard her arguments, but we will follow up. After this action, the staff of the Golos Respubliki publication has 2 weeks to file an appeal and once again try to get their questions answered.
A special website on political prisoners in Kazakhstan will now be available for public. Criteria that exist in the international practice were used and interpreted by local experts. The status of prisoner of conscience will provide more opportunities to help them and also appeal for aid to international community.
Tyrek.org is going to gather all the information about political prisoners in Kazakhstan. The expert group finalized a number of existing criteria which identifies domestic prisoners of conscience. The main thing, according to the creators of the site, is to receive public recognition of political prisoner status. First, we can demand the unconditional release of the person, and also we can demand for a new trial. Am I right, Mr. Yevgeny? What more privileges are given by this status? Not under the current regime, but in the long term. Activists have already put together some kind of a rating. The first group is those convicted for political motives, one of which is Article 164, inciting social hatred. The best example is Vladimir Kozlov. Another group is those who are serving sentences for ordinary crimes. Also, there is a group which is clearly aimed to be isolated from society. This includes Vadim Kuramshin and Aron Atabek. There will also be a group dedicated to political prisoners. Take BTA Bank or Mr. Jakishev's case, for instance. This is enough to understand that these people should not be forgotten, and that they in some way became a part of certain political persecution of specific individuals. One of the latest examples is human rights activist from Ritter, Alexander Kharlamov. He was arrested in the middle of March for promoting atheism under the very same Article 164. The 63-year-old is facing up to 10 years in prison for questioning the existence of God and posting his seditious thoughts in the social network. This is beyond the comprehension of a decent human being. Even the international law of freedom of conscience and religion includes the right to believe and not to believe. And in fact, to promote the right not to believe, no doubt this man is persecuted for his beliefs. The Advisory Council is currently reviewing 62 people which, one way or another, fall under the prisoners of conscience category. Even prior to this website, the dissenters have been strongly helping those who are imprisoned for their beliefs. They have been writing them letters, shipping parcels, and supporting them in social networks. Most importantly, they need to know that they are remembered and supported. They need to know that people care for them and try to help. On paper, no one is convicted for beliefs in the Republic of Kazakhstan. However, statistics, which vary from the real situation, insist that there are about 700 to 1,000 political prisoners in Kazakhstan.
Next to Now Bulletin. One more victory. Kazakhstani Denis Kuzin wins speed skating championship and qualifies for Olympics in Sochi. Almaty sums up the results of the contest's video presentations on environment protection. A highway was washed away in Pavlodar region. Risk of flooding of private property is very high. Pavlodar-Uspensk highway was flooded during the weekends. As was reported by local rescuers, residents of the settlements close to the road were not affected.
It is unclear where the water came from, although it could have been a discharge from one of the city's heat plants. The personnel of Pavlodar Emergency Department at the flooded area are now investigating all the possibilities for the cause of the incident. We have set up a special commission to identify and eliminate the causes of the incident and then publish our findings. The situation at the site is stable, and we've been told that the water level has dropped by about 50 centimeters. The rescuers are still working on clearing road access to Maildi village after installing temporary dams at the most dangerous zones. Local residents say that they have not seen such a strong flood in years. Now people are afraid for a new wave once the warm weather hits the area. Of course, I am concerned about my kids at home, who are on holidays along with their elder family members. I just didn't know where I could take them all. There were no men at home since all of them were at work. Nobody expected it and never thought this would happen.
A contest, Ecology of the City as Seen by Children, ended in Almaty. Pupils presented their works dedicated to the environment and health of citizens. Find out the rest of the details in the next report.
Almaty school children have presented the public their school project, Ecology and Life. The series of 11 films about the environment are evaluated by the contest jury on the merits of the concept originality and presentation. The key goal here is to educate children about the environment and draw their attention to the problems in their relationships between the city, its residents, and other environmental issues. Nastya Khromchenko thoroughly prepared for the contest and uses the video to talk about the Almaty landfills. The sophomore believes that the environmental disparity does not originate in nature, but in the actions of the city residents. We put some thought into the subject, and instead of concentrating on pollution and questioning how did it happen, we decided to show what people could do and ask city residents to share their ideas. Ayim Nusim is a 9th grade student who focused her work on exhaust fumes and timber extraction. The subject proved quite difficult to cover due to technical complications and people's indifference. In the end, the video emphasizes civic irresponsibility, although Ayim still hopes for the best. My film ends with an open question, and I still express hope that people will manage to make it a better place. I believe that Almaty has a chance to become a greener and cleaner city. The event organizers believe that given additional training, all of the kids who took part in the contest can become professional video bloggers with an active civic stance.
The number of higher education institutions in Kazakhstan will be decreased to 100 in the next 2 years. The rest will be shut down or unified. This statement was voiced by the Education Minister Bakhtiyar Jumagulov. The opinion of other people, however, are not taken into consideration.
There is a lot of criticism regarding the decrease in higher education institutions. That isn't right. Everything has been rationalized and calculated, but we should keep in mind that every education institution has a curator in Astana who lobbies its interest. The same thing is in the deputy court, in the government, and in every central authority. Those people are doing everything to prevent cutting the universities, and this is not a secret to anyone. The minister says that most commercial universities do not stand up to criticism, and this is the main reason for optimization. Representatives of the academic community believe that, first of all, the government needs to respect the rights of students and teachers when cutting the number of universities. It is important to keep in mind that every optimization affects students, graduate students, PhD students, and their rights need to be respected.
An exhibition of social issues and projects was held in Almaty on Monday. It gathered more than 150 participants from around the country. This way, the NGOs want to draw the attention of the public to vulnerable layers of the population.
The fair was attended by representatives of Timirtaus Public Foundation, Dari Dobro, or Giving Good. As part of this project, we organize masterclasses and roundtables, provide psychological support to people with special needs, and also teach them the basics of arts and crafts. There are about 15,000 non-commercial organizations currently operating in Kazakhstan. 150 of them are taking part in the fair. SOS Children's Villages Kazakhstan took the opportunity to present their brand new project SOS Father, where a volunteer can assume the role of a father for children infected with HIV. The analysis of the project's feasibility showed that the families in this particular category often lack fathers, thus leaving the children without a role model. This made us consider involving proactive men in these children's upbringing and family environment. We plan to introduce special training and then select appropriate volunteers. A fair would not be complete without music, dancing, and games. Askar Sultanghazin is a coordinator of a project to save the ancestors' heritage. Playing the dombra is the very least he can do. We protect our immaterial culture by requesting to include the traditional puppet musical art ortekia on the UNESCO World Heritage List. The application comes from Kazakhstan since the art is our long-standing tradition. In total, 169 social projects were presented at the fair. The event participants say that the occasion allows them to attract the attention of investors and then implement new projects and ideas.
Denis Kuzin returned to Astana from Sochi on Tuesday. Kazakh speed skater won the World Championship and qualified for Olympics. 24-year-old athlete was met in the airport by young fans and journalists.
According to Kuzin, he still remains in a state of shock from what happened. His best results earlier left the Kazakh athlete at number 6 in the finals of the World Cup. He admits that he was in a bad mood during the 1,000-meter race. In fact, the shoulder that he broke in the summer still has not fully recovered yet. Nevertheless, this is the first gold in speed skating for Kazakhstan. The champion is going to rest in April and then start to prepare for the Sochi Olympics. After the championship, during the closing ceremony, people kept asking me, how did I pull this? And why me instead of Olympic champions of last year? What was your response? I told them I was strong.
This is all we have time for now. Thank you for watching and have a good day.